Greetings, my name is Lynn. I am a severe TBI survivor. I had my traumatic brain injury when I got run over by a Ford Mustang at the beach in the Fort Lauderdale, Florida area, my home, on July 3rd, 2020. So my TBI took place 5 years ago. So I'm at the big 5 years, the official, not the official, but like the general fully healed from the TBI day that brain injury media people and scientists will say is when the healing from a traumatic brain injury, a severe traumatic brain injury, is done at about 5 years. So we are done. One of the things I want to talk about is how a traumatic brain injury, as a survivor, a traumatic brain injury can change our lives and our perspective and our access. One of the most significant things that occurred for me as a TBI survivor was when I returned to work. And I started having challenges maintaining attention and maintaining memory and maintaining names and knowledge and in terms. The vocabulary of being an HR assistant is significant, and when you are off of a traumatic brain injury, that is going to be far too difficult for a traumatic brain injury survivor to get in and be an HR assistant right out the gate, right when the doctor said I could go back to work. As a severe traumatic brain injury survivor, I went back to work in February of 2021. So that's July, August, September, October, November, December. That's 6 months of healing, right? July, August, September, October, November, December, January, seven months of healing, because I went back to work in February of 2021. So I healed for 7 months, and then I went back to work. Even though I was medically allowed to return to work, I was not mentally or emotionally or cognitively prepared to be an HR assistant. I don't know what I could have done for the subsequent 2 years I was back, because I worked until 2023. It's amazing I made it as long as I did, and I'd like to thank the company that I worked for keep me around for all that time. I don't believe that as I was still healing from my traumatic brain injury, I should have returned to work. I was not ready. And my family wasn't ready. Because then it became, how am I going to get to and from work? Another thing that is really an adventure as a traumatic brain injury survivor is whether or not your vision got affected in the brain injury, because your brain and your eyes are pretty close together. My vision did get affected by my brain injury, in addition to my cognitive impairments and my mental and memory impairments. I have vision impairments, and because my vision is so significantly impaired, I now also have one of these. And while these are really helpful and meaningful and super amazing, to hand in my driver's license and get back one of these instead, that was a change. It was a major mental shift, as for a mentally impaired person to try to process becoming the type of person with an impaired driver tag, with an handicapped space tag. Having one of these is super helpful, but when you have one, it's something to reflect on. I mean, for what it's worth, and I think you know this if you're a friend of mine, I'm Lynn fucking Hessley, right? I could do the shit that I want to do. And having this and being Lynn fucking Hessley is a marriage that needs to be entertained and processed and accepted mentally, spiritually, emotionally, cognitively. Having one of these super helpful, earning one and getting one, that is a mental shift. So it's a mental shift going from Lynn Hessley, let's get stuff done, I moved to Florida from New York, no problem. These are problems. It's also very interesting to understand anxiety. Anxiety was always something that affected me as an individual, even before my TBI, because what I thought I was taking medication for depression for was actually I was taking anxiety medicine. Anxiety is worrying about the future. And as a TBI survivor, the future is something that needs some thought and some consideration. We need to plan out how to pay for things, how to keep fed and keep water going, how to keep electricity and internet, how to keep the roof over my head, and how to keep the bills paid. How am I going to do that? These are all things that as a TBI survivor, Joe Blow walking down the street is just, yes, I also have a mortgage payment and an electricity payment and a gas payment and a car payment, all those other payments. As a TBI survivor, I still have those payments, but now I have to figure out how I'm going to pay for them. So thankfully, even though our current administration is working to fuck it up, there is Social Security for disabled people, and I'm able to collect that. And for that, I'm grateful. And when I left my job because my employers realized I was cognitively damaged after my severe traumatic brain injury. So as like I said, I stayed with them. I stayed with them until 2023. And then they gave me a really gracious, a really dignified exit. And I appreciate that. I'm really grateful because their kindness is also part of what is keeping me going. Their kindness, and some other stuff. But, it's a major transition to understand that after a traumatic brain injury, our lives can be affected. Another thing that's really significant as a TBI survivor is my medical marijuana usage. Marijuana helps with my anxiety. It doesn't help with everybody's anxiety. It's not a universal cure for a lot of things. For me, I am very, very grateful for medical marijuana, for the indica blend, not sativa because that gets it going. The indica is just calming and soothing and relaxing and chilling. So that's why I carry my vape with me everywhere. If you've ever seen me, you see some of the orange sticking out from between my boobs. That's where my vape is. Medical marijuana. I am very, very grateful for it. It's very, very helpful, very nice, very kind. And there's so much about being a traumatic brain injury survivor that we can discuss. I just wanted to talk to you today about the fact that I am now Lynn Hessley. I'm a TBI survivor, and I have a handicap tag. Thanks again for tuning in to TBI Talk. My name is Lynn Hessley. I'm really grateful you were here. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again really soon. Bye-bye.